Through the test of practice, if China's rural areas want to realize modernization, taking the road of collective economy is an effective path that has been repeatedly proven by practice. Urbanization and modernization are phenomena, but in essence, it is necessary to grasp the form of ownership. This is the experience of all Commonwealth villages in China. Here we combine the development process of Changjiang village in Jiangjian to make some analysis again. Jiangjian City, Jiangsu Province is the place where a million heroes crossed the river on April 21, 1949. There is a Changjiang village in Jiangjian, which is located in the east of Zhejiang town and borders Jiangjian City. The total area of the village is 6.5 square kilometers. It has a population of 4,445, 1,167 households and 27 villager groups. After 60 years of socialist construction, the village's economic strength is strong, the villagers live in prosperity and well-being, and the village is clean and beautiful, which is a typical example of Jiangjian's new rural construction. Changjiang village has won the honor of the third among the top 10 villages in the national economy and the 18th most influential village in the country. When you come to this land of heroes, you will still have the pride of turning upside down and generosity. The collective economic development here has realized the industrialization and modernization of the village. Li Liangbao. Entrepreneurship is hard, but for the people, there is happiness in suffering, and there is no regret in happiness. It is difficult to start a business, but it is hard to seek, successful in business, and at ease. I have only one wish: when the people are happy, I will be happy. One theoretical analysis of collective economy. There is no doubt that the collective economy is a public-owned economy, a kind of public-owned economy in which the means of production are jointly owned by some laborers. Collective ownership originated from the Socialist Soviet Union, and its scope of application was limited to rural areas, mainly manifested as collective farm ownership. In the mid-1950s, my country introduced the concept of collective ownership from the former Soviet Union, and expanded it to rural areas and towns in the development of cooperatives and public-private partnerships. This has evolved into my country's rural and urban collective economic ownership. The essence of the collective economy is a cooperative economy, including labor unions and capital unions. Collective economy, that is, collective ownership economy. Tracing back to the source, collective ownership was first proposed by the great teacher Marx. In 1874, when Marx summed up the important lessons from the failure of the Paris Commune, he pointed out that after the proletariat takes power, it will take measures in the capacity of the government. From the very beginning, we should promote the transition from private ownership of land to collective ownership, and let the peasants themselves pass the economic reform. However, measures that offend the peasants cannot be taken, such as announcing the abolition of inheritance rights or the abolition of peasant ownership. The complete works of Marx and Engels, Volume 18, p. 695. It can be seen from this passage of Marx that collective ownership is a form of public ownership different from private ownership. It cannot be abolished by farmers' individual ownership, but the transition from private ownership of farmers' land to collective ownership must be realized through the economic road. But he did not propose a specific form of the economic path. After Marx's death, Engels proposed in his article French and German Peasant Questions in November 1894, when we have state power, we will never use violence to deprive small farmers, whether there is compensation or not, it is the same. Our task for the small peasants is first of all to transform their private production and private appropriation into cooperative production and cooperative appropriation. This shows that cooperatives at that time were a road from small farmers to collective ownership of the economy. In 1895, the International Cooperative Federation was established to promote the regulation and development of the cooperative movement. In the principles of international cooperatives, members own and control enterprises, indivisible public accumulation, and labor patronage have become the basic characteristics of cooperatives. Generally, the property of cooperatives consists of members' contribution and shareholding, and the accumulated part jointly owned by members. Lenin clearly stated in the article on the cooperative system, under the existing system in our country, cooperative enterprises are different from private capitalist enterprises, because cooperative enterprises are collective enterprises. Mao Zedong pointed out in the report of the second plenary session of the 7th Central Committee, this kind of cooperative is a collective economic organization of the working people under the management of the state power led by the proletariat based on private ownership. Based on the practice of the cooperative movement, the revolutionary mentor proposed that cooperatives are the realization of collective ownership. After the founding of New China, our thinking comes from this, and it has been proved that this is very correct, and it is also a very crucial measure to consolidate the new people's power. The Gongfu villages that widely exist in my country's rural areas, represented by Waxi Village, Nanja Village, Dazai Village, Liuzhuang, Zhujiazhuang, Honglan Village, etc., are typical representatives of the collective economy. Let's take Jiangji and Changjiang Village as an example to illustrate further analyze the relationship between collective economy and village modernization. The advantage of the village collective economy over the individual economy is that the village collective can directly run enterprises, or even run large enterprises. The leaders of the collective economy may soon become local entrepreneurs with local characteristics. We can also call it rural red entrepreneur. There is such a native entrepreneur in Changjiang Village. His name is Li Liangbao, male, born in 1940. He is a native farmer entrepreneur. He has been working in the front line of the countryside since he was an accountant of the production team in 1961. In 1971, he was transferred to Changjiang Village to engage in economic construction. Since 1993, he has been the main person in charge of the village and the group company. He is currently secretary of the party committee of Changjiang Village, Zhigang Street, Jiangjian City, Jiangsu Province, and chairman of Jiangsu New Changjiang Industrial Group Co., Ltd. For decades, he has led the whole village to adhere to the road of collective economy, and has always regarded the construction of a harmonious, prosperous, and happy Changjiang Village as a tireless pursuit of life. The small fishing village on the border has developed into a modern new countryside, and the whole village has realized the goal of every family lives in a villa, everyone has shares, and every household has savings. In 2008, Changjiang Village ranked third among the top 10 villages in China's economy, and the village group company ranked 270th among the top 500 Chinese enterprises. He has been awarded honorary titles such as National Township Entrepreneur, National 100 Outstanding Village Officials, Model Worker of Jiangsu Province, Model Worker of Wuxi City, Outstanding Entrepreneur of Wuxi City, and Top 10 Models of Excellent Communist Party members of Jiangjian City. As the leader of the village's collective economy, Li Liangbao has his own beliefs and pursuits. In his words, entrepreneurship is hard, but for the people, there is joy in hardship, and there is no regret in happiness. It is difficult to start a business, but it is difficult to seek, and the career is successful. I have only one wish: when the people are happy, I will be happy. This is an entrepreneurial spirit that clearly bears the characteristics of China's socialist ideology. Changjiang Village has a 5.1-kilometer golden coastline of the Yangtze River. Since Li Liangbao became the main leader of the village, he has dared to be the first, to explore, and to fight tough battles. He has seized opportunities such as developing township enterprises, implementing development along the river, and deepening enterprise reforms, leading the people of the village to start a business with hard work, operate with integrity, and do well. Strong main business, relying on self-accumulation to achieve a snowball rapid development. From starting with 2 small kills, the village group company now ranks 270th among the top 500 Chinese enterprises, and its annual output value has exceeded 20 billion yuan from more than 100,000 yuan. Every data has been soaked in the sweat and efforts of Li Liangbao and the majority of villagers. Wisdom. Li Liangbao said, "It's as small as using a penny, and it's as big as investing hundreds of millions." The introduction, decision-making, accurate calculation and realization of each project are condensed with my every bit of effort. This kind of incentive mechanism from the heart is completely it is not comparable to the individual wish to get rich. Only the ambition to fight for the collective and the common happiness and beautiful life of the people in the same village who get along with each other day and night can inspire such drive and superhuman courage and wisdom. Entrance to Changjiang Village. The most fundamental thing is that the collective economy is not a private individual economy. The collective economy naturally provides much more possibilities for public ownership, fairness, and justice than the individual economy. Once there are suitable leaders with entrepreneurial spirit, the collective economy will not. The rapid development is strange. Because the village collective in our country has a natural advantage of land management rights. Article 10 of China's constitution stipulates, the land in rural areas and urban suburbs, except for the land that is owned by the state as stipulated by law, is collectively owned, and homesteads and private plots are also collectively owned. Article 74 of the General Principles of Civil Law stipulates, collectively owned land belongs to the collective ownership of village farmers in accordance with the law, and is operated and managed by agricultural collective economic organizations such as village agricultural production cooperatives or villagers' committees. If it is already owned by the township, town, peasant collective economic organization, it may belong to the township, town, peasants. Collectively owned. Article 10 of the Land Administration Law stipulates, collectively owned land belongs to the collective ownership of village farmers in accordance with the law, and is operated and managed by the village collective economic organization or the villagers' committee. It has already belonged to 2 or more rural collective economic organizations in the village. Those owned by the rural collective economic organizations or villagers groups in the village shall be operated and managed. Those already owned by the peasant collectives of the township, town, shall be operated and managed by the rural collective economic organizations of the township, town. The land of the village is engaged in the operation of industrial enterprises without paying extra rent or fees, and the land becomes the capital of the farmers in the village. Changjiang Village and other Commonwealth villages have made full use of this socialist advantage, but it is difficult for those places that work alone to take advantage of this advantage. The efficiency of socialism will not be low, because socialism is the most fair system in history. 3 collective enterprises still rely on cadres to lead the masses, rely on self-reliance, and work hard to develop well. The collective economy does not naturally produce high efficiency. The collective economy only provides the basic possibility of high efficiency. To make the collective economy work, the key lies in people and their subjective initiative, especially the subjective initiative of cadres. The development of collective enterprises in Changjiang Village has gone through several steps. 1. Start a business and lay a solid foundation. In 1972, Li Liangbao, who had been an accountant of the production team for 10 years, took up the post of director of the village sideline office. Please note that the policy at that time allowed to engage in sideline business. The model play ode to the Dragon River contained the famous line of making up for agricultural losses by sideline business. Entrusted and trusted by the villagers of the brigade, Li Liangbao led 6 farmers to build 2 small brick kilns by the Laoxiagang River in the name of sideline business with the 700 yuan fund raised by the brigade. With perseverance and hard work, we sold bricks by firing kilns, and accumulated the first pot of gold for the start of an enterprise in Changjiang Village. In 1973, Li Liangbao led the sideline team to carry out transportation and the accumulated funds from the kiln factory, personally selected 7 farmers in the village, set up 7 thatched houses next to the Zhiagang Lianyi kiln factory as workshops, and purchased 10 instrument lathes, set up the Changjiang hardware factory, and made a profit of nearly 8,000 yuan that year. In 1978, Li Liangbao was elected by the villagers as the director of the Changjiang Industrial General Factory. Such factories became social-run enterprises at that time. Social-run enterprises were new things in the period of the People's Communes. Chairman Mao paid special attention to them and encouraged them. Afterwards, Li Liangbao and the others took advantage of the spring breeze of reform and opening up, used the method of borrowing chickens to lay eggs, relying on the technical and financial support of Jiangjian No. 1 Chemical Factory, Vehicle Factory, Fertilizer Factory, and Jingjiang Materials Bureau, and established a nut factory. Later, relying on the land advantage of the brigade and the favorable conditions of the cooperative enterprises to expand the market urgently, Jiangjian Chemical No. 1 Plant Changjiang Branch, Changjiang Brick and Tile Factory, and Agricultural Machinery Team were established. By 1983, the output value of the village's industrial and secondary industries exceeded 5 million yuan. From 1983 to 1992, I focused on rectifying, consolidating, and improving the village-run industries. I not only paid attention to product quality and enterprise management, but also paid more attention to the construction of enterprise cadres, so that the village-run industries jumped to a new level every year. In 1993, the output value of the whole village broke through the 100 million yuan mark, becoming the 3rd village in Jiangjian area to exceed 100 million yuan. 2. Grasp mergers and grab the market. Jiangjian Seamless Steel Tube General Factory is a town-run backbone enterprise. Due to frequent changes of factory leaders, it owed more than 30 million yuan in bank loans and more than 35 million yuan in foreign debts by 1996. The company lost more than 5 million yuan. There is nowhere to distribute products, nowhere to borrow loans, and a semi-stop production situation where all salespeople are gone. After Li Liangbao and his colleagues heard the news, they boldly suggested to the township and township level that the municipal seamless steel tube factory first implement an auction and then merge with New Changjiang to revitalize the stock capital with incremental capital. On December 10, 1996, our village successfully pioneered the merger of village-run enterprises and town-run enterprises in Jiangjian City. Li Liangbao boldly selected excellent talents to carry out reform and innovation. Through technical transformation and expansion, innovative technology, and other means, the factory turned from loss to profit in just 1 year. After 10 years of development, the factory's current annual sales exceed 1 billion yuan, and the Jiangyin brand seamless steel pipe has been rated as a national inspection-free product and a famous brand product in Jiangsu province. Since 1998, Changjiang Village has successively merged 6 factories including Zhejiang Metal Pipe Factory, Jiangjian Second Non-Ferrous Metal Smelting Factory, Zhejiang Switch Factory, Jiangjian Sanfang Machinery Factory, Jiangjian Standard Parts Factory, and Zhejiang Shipbreaking Factory. Enterprise. After readjustment, new equipment, and improved technology, these enterprises resurrected from the dead and produced considerable economic benefits. Over the past 10 years, Changjiang Village has successively established enterprises such as Daqing Iron and Steel Co., Ltd. The metallurgical new material industry has accounted for 85% of the village's economy. In 2008, the invoiced sales exceeded 20 billion yuan, and a breakthrough was made by the end of the 11th five-year plan 30 billion yuan. 3. Build ports and develop tertiary industries. Changjiang people who have grown up along the Yangtze River for generations have always had a tradition of fishing on the water. Since 1988, Li Liangbao has invested nearly 2 billion yuan in the implementation of port development and construction with his forward-looking and superhuman forward-looking and bold decision-making. Over the past 20 years, they have unremittingly promoted the development strategy along the river, built 4 inner port terminals, 4 outer port terminals, 10 over 30,000 ton berths, 15,5,000 ton berths, 31,000 ton berths. The annual throughput can reach more than 100 million tons, making the construction of Jiangjiang new port area take shape. In Changjiang Village, Changjiang Shipbreaking Yard and Jiangsu Changhong International Port Co., Limited were set up one after another, making historic contributions to the construction of Jiangjiang Lingang New City. At present, Pier No. 2 has become a regional trade center, and Pier No. 3 has become a container transportation center. 4. Go out and explore new roads. In March 2004, I actively responded to the Cross-River Joint Development Strategy of Jiangjiang Municipal Party Committee and Municipal Government, and decisively decided to invest more than 1 billion yuan to establish Changjiang Iron and Steel Co., Limited in Jingjiang Park, Jiangjiang Economic Development Zone. At present, it has formed an annual output of 1 million tons of high-quality special steel capacity. In recent years, our village has accelerated the implementation of the Going Out strategy. With Changjiang Steel Pipe Co., Limited as the core, we have focused on building a market headquarters economy. Added a strong driving force for the whole village to maintain sound and rapid development. With such strong strength of the village collective enterprise, the life of the villagers has naturally undergone unprecedented changes. This beautiful village is located on the banks of the Yangtze River. Every day, the sun rises in the east and the sun sinks in the west. Watching the river rushing, listening to the waves lapping on the shore, and countless boats coming and going, a day passes by leisurely. The villagers who grew up in SI are undoubtedly happy. The Yangtze River has endowed them with a philosophy of life that goes all the way and never stops. Once upon a time, the villagers began to learn to use the wealth that the Yangtze River gave them. Piers began to spring up on the shore, and merchant ships from all over the world began to stop here, and the beauty of a vibrant development began to spread everywhere. The difference between river water and lake water is that the former cannot be content with the status quo and be willing to be mediocre, and appear more generous. The same is true for the people in Changjiang Village who have the spirit of the Yangtze River. Taking Jiang as its name and prospering along the river is a vivid portrayal of Changjiang Village. 20 years ago, Li Liangbao, the leader of Changjiang Village, was imagining about the 1-kilometer-long Yangtze River shoreline beside the village, develop along the river, develop the port economy, and benefit the people of the Yangtze River. Since 1988, the banks of the Yangtze River have become more and more lively day by day. Changjiang Village is supported by the strong economic strength accumulated in the village. After nearly 20 years of development along the river, the 5.1-kilometer golden coastline of the Yangtze River along the second town and 5 villages along the river has been built into Jiangjiang. Emerging new port area. On the 5.1-kilometer shoreline of the new port area, there are 4 inner harbor wharves. The first, second, third, and fourth, which are unique at the village level in China. Since then, Changjiang Village has successively built 4 deep water wharves in the outer port, which can simultaneously dock 10,000 ton ships. Today, the development of the Yangtze River has given birth to the development of the port economy of the new Yangtze River Group, and the development of the port economy has also boosted the leapfrog development of the Yangtze River economy. Overlooking the uniform villas in Jiangji and Changjiang Village, surrounded by green trees. Changjiang Village, which has become richer, is even more beautiful. While many people were still busy with housing, the villagers of Changjiang Village had already moved into spacious and comfortable villas. Not far from the river, rows and rows of neat villas are surrounded by greenery. Straight cement passages extend in all directions, not far from each other. The lotus pond is bright and the lotus is tender. Nowadays, walking in Changjiang Village, in addition to seeing the scenery of the port, foreign tourists can also walk around the residential areas of the village. The achievements of enterprise development have greatly benefited the construction of new countryside in Changjiang Village. Since 1995, the Changjiang Village Party Committee has invested more than 300 million yuan from the accumulation of enterprises. After 10 years of construction, 818 villa buildings have been built for the villagers, so that all 818 villagers in the village can live in new houses, which has completely changed the living environment of the villagers. At the same time, Changjiang Village also invested 180 million yuan to fully connect the water, electricity, and road facilities of the new village. The 6,000-meter main road and more than 12,000-meter interval passages in the village are hardened, brightened, greened, and beautified. The front and back of the house are fully greened. And built 480 mu of ecological forest in the village area. Changjiang Village took the lead in Jiangji City to realize centralized living, tidy village appearance, clean drinking water, bagged garbage, harmless excrement disposal, and team management. In order to solve the worries of the villagers' life, since 2005, the village has given each villager 20,000 yuan as a share capital, and subsidized each village employee with 1,500 yuan of seniority fee per year as a share capital to participate in the share capital dividend, red card. Each villager is given 10,000 yuan as a land share capital to participate in dividends, green card, thus ensuring that the villagers in the Yangtze River get the greatest benefits from wage income and share dividends. In 2006, after the economic restructuring of the whole village was completed, the village allocated nearly 100 million yuan to distribute dividends to villagers' assets, making the average household of villagers reach 100,000 yuan. In August of this year, we doubled the amount of villagers' share capital. At the same time, villagers enjoy pensions, school admission subsidies, free medical insurance, water and electricity subsidies and many other benefits, and they can also receive rich New Year's goods before the Spring Festival every year. Changjiang Village's prosperity is the result of the development of the collective economy, so they deeply understand the socialist principle of common prosperity both emotionally and rationally, and they must not lose it at any time. At the beginning of 2009, Li Liangbao, secretary of the party committee of Changjiang Village, Zhigang Street, Jiangji City, led the main leaders of the village party and government to the nearby Jingxian Village and Huqiao Village, and sent 430,000 yuan to these two economically weak villages to solve the problem of year-end funding gap support due to large investment in public welfare undertakings. Changjiang Village is one of the top 10 villages in China's economy, with strong economic strength at the village level. In 2008, it completed invoice sales of 27.7 billion yuan and paid taxes exceeding 560 million yuan. The goal of enriching the people is strengthening the village. When Changjiang Village is rich, it does not forget to neighbors and homes, and actively responds to the Jiangji Municipal Party Committee and municipal government's call to strengthen villages and lead weak villages. For several consecutive years, it has paired up and helped the economically weak villages around it, with a total of 1.59 million assistance funds yuan, leading the surrounding villages and people to take the road of common prosperity. This is the proper meaning of the collective economy and the natural state of the superiority of socialism. Only in this way can the industrialization and modernization of the village be realized. The artistic conception of if the sky has love, the sky will be old, and the right way in the world is vicissitudes. Explanation. This article was written on May 17, 2009, and was published in China Collective Economy on May 2009 after a slight abridgment. Li Keqian postscript. Comrade Li Liangbao passed away due to illness at 6:05 a.m. on July 12, 2014 at the age of 75. However, as a rural red entrepreneur, he is bound to leave a profound impact, which is a cultural impact. Because his way is not private ownership, but public ownership, which is very important to China and to all mankind. You must know that there are entrepreneurs under private ownership all over the world, and there are many theories and practices. But entrepreneurs under public ownership, we call them red entrepreneurs, are new things. Chairman Mao pointed out on the correct handling of contradictions among the people. The new and correct things in history are often not recognized by the majority at the beginning, and can only develop in a tortuous way in the struggle. Right things, good things, people often don't recognize them as fragrant flowers at the beginning. They are regarded as poisonous weeds. Copernicus' theory of the solar system and Darwin's theory of evolution were both regarded as wrong things, and they all experienced hard struggles. There are many such examples in the history of our country. Compared with the old society, in a socialist society, the conditions for the growth of new things are fundamentally different from those in the past, and much better. However, it is still common to suppress new forces and reasonable opinions. It is not because of intentional suppression, but because of unclear distinctions it will also hinder the growth of new things. Therefore, we should maintain a cautious attitude towards right and wrong in science and art, advocate free discussion, and don't make rash conclusions. We believe that adopting this attitude can help science and art to develop more smoothly. Development of. This is very intriguing.